Hey guys, I'm Miranda from SpookyLittleHalloween.com, the blog celebrating October 31st all year long. And over on my site, you can find all kinds of recipes, DIYs, tons of Halloween playlists, and lots of cool Halloween things to buy from small businesses.
Well, I am very excited to start off our Spooktacular with one of my dearest friends, Miranda from Spooky Little Halloween, SpookyLittleHalloween.com, and she is going to talk to us a bit about how to plan your party, set yourself up for success for the best Halloween you could possibly have. So walk us through, what is your process like when you're starting from scratch? How do you plan this party?
So for me, the biggest thing is always putting together a timeline to make sure that I get everything checked off the list. Because if you're wanting to throw a Halloween party, and like for me, it's always the vision of the party in Hocus Pocus, right? Like I think
my gosh, yes.
All of us. So having a timeline really helps me stick with that kind of stuff. Make sure that I'm getting everything checked off my list, whether it's my grocery shopping, planning a playlist, making sure that my whole home is decorated, just all the things. So timeline.
Which it definitely is, by the way, in case anyone was wondering, her whole home is decorated.
Just a bit.
So how far in advance would you start planning?
Oh gosh, it's been a little while since I've done a large scale Halloween party, but for me, it was usually, literally the day after the previous party ended.
That's what we like to hear.
So I don't know. I always have ideas going in my brain. So I think it's always good just to kind of keep that going. The earlier you start, the better. But even at this point this year, if you wanted to put together a party, probably a micro party, maybe for you and like one or two other friends.
It's a good idea.
2 weeks would probably be sufficient.
I like the term micro party.
Isn't that fun?
I like that it like still sets it up to be like a moment. Like it's still an event, but it is rather than like, do you want to hang out with me and a couple of friends? Come to my micro party.
Well, okay, so can I tell a story?
Please.
So my mom has always joked that with my parties and my party themes that I'm a little bit of a trendsetter. So actually back in 2019, they had, as we all know, they had moved, so I didn't have my party space, so I was hosting in my apartment, which is a touch smaller than their backyard. So I decided to have a series of smaller parties that year. So I called them micro parties.
I love that.
Who knew that a year later those would be super relevant in the middle of a pandemic? Never mind, wherever we are and all this now. So micro parties. Yes.
All right. Trendy. I love it. So, and you, I'm getting off topic here, but do you want to talk, I feel like we have to talk a little bit about your party, your Halloweeny roast. This is like a thing you do.
Yeah, it's been a little while since I've hosted it, but for about 10 years, I was hosting a party in my parents' backyard, and it really centered on silly, but roasting hot dogs over the bonfire fire pit in the backyard. So we named it Halloweeny Roast and started having my friends dress up, and it just kind of became a thing, and everybody looked forward to it every year. So we just kept going with it.
So I have an actual party expert here. 10 years of Halloweeny Roast. She really knows what she's doing.
So with that, so of course timeline is essential, but I think one of the things that really made Halloweeny Roast so successful for me and kind of got my friends excited about it and kept everybody coming back year after year, two key details that I always planned. Always made sure to have a theme with it, because then that gave my friends something to dress up for. That was key.
Love a theme.
Right? And then it sounds a little bit silly, but I think if you can plan colors that you want to incorporate into your party, and I think we'll touch on some of that later on, but that kind of helps tie things together. So if you can come up with a theme in your planning and color scheme.
Almost like you're planning a wedding.
Yes,
like
that's exactly
the amount
it.
of effort you would put into planning a wedding.
Yeah.
But to a Halloween party.
Yeah.
Step up your game. I love that. I love that you're treating it as the event that it is, which is amazing.
I think, I mean, just for me, looking at a lot of my friends' party photos, a lot of their decor, or even just like the cool parties that I see on Pinterest, that was the thing that I kept coming back to, is the thing that makes it all look cohesive in such a simple way is having a color scheme. And 2-3 colors max, don't go over the top with it. So, and circling back to the themes a little bit, I think costumes are essential for a party. Yeah. I always wanted to make sure that my friends were dressing up for my parties.
One of my friends recently asked me if she had to wear a costume to my party, and I kind of gave her a look, and she said, so it's strongly recommended. And I said, you could say that. I would go with mandatory, but we'll go with strongly recommended.
Well, so setting a theme is actually one of the ways that I got my friends to dress up, because the first year that I hosted Halloween Roast, it was very small, very informal. The second year, I didn't have a theme, and so my friends came, but their costumes were kind of, love you guys, but...
Called out.
Yeah. Basically. So the third year that I hosted it, I put together a theme, and I found that they all really gravitated towards that, because then they didn't have to come up with the ideas on their own. They had a theme they could center their costumes around.
Yeah.
And that made everything so much easier, and after that, the costumes took off, and it was amazing.
That's a really smart way of thinking about it, that you're in a way taking workload off of your guests by providing that theme so that they have something kind of easy to go to that they know, okay, well, that sets the bar where I need to go. I always feel a little weird sometimes offering a theme, because I'm like, am I demanding too much? But I like that framework of I'm doing the work for you.
Exactly. Well, and I mean, I always kind of looked at Halloweeny Roast as I don't necessarily gather with all my friends for my birthday or their birthdays every single year. So I kind of looked at my party as a way to gather everybody together and kind of give back to my friends and celebrate. So I wanted to make sure, I wanted them all to come in costume, but I wanted it to be as easy of a process as possible. So yeah, having that theme in place, definitely the costume quality will way up after that.
Amazing. Have a theme.
So, and then I think my last tip, just to help set the mood for the evening, is to have a playlist.
Y'all, head over right now. Pause video, stop what you're doing. Head over to spookylittlehalloween.com and check out Miranda's playlists. She is a master of curating music. I listen to her playlists on Spotify in my car all the time when I'm driving. Your Halloween covers playlist is one of my absolute favorites. I listen to it at least once a week at minimum.
So if you need a pre-made playlist already, I actually dropped my ultimate Halloween playlist on the blog this year. Over 900 songs. It's literally 48 plus hours of music. So go find the ultimate Halloween playlist from Spooky Little Halloween on Spotify.
I will actually link that in the description box below here, so you can just go right to it. That is amazing. That must have been a lot of work.
It took 10 years, but
Well, don't let Miranda's work go to waste. Go click that description box link, because that's amazing. That's so much music.
I kind of look at it as a Halloween radio station. Yeah. And honestly, some of it has come from one of my favorite online Halloween radio stations, and then just kind of compiling every Halloween song that I genuinely enjoy. But if you want to create your own playlist, I think using that theme as your starting place, whether it's maybe you're doing a vampire theme, so go look for songs about vampires. Maybe you're doing it centered around a favorite horror movie or something, so, putting all those scores into the playlist, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of center your playlist around the theme and then add in your favorites. And my tip is don't skip the classics. I know all of us spooky people, we could probably never hear This Is Halloween ever again and be happy. Sorry.
I know you have a personal vendetta against Monster Mash, which is actually one of my favorites.
I do really love it. I don't know. It is a whole thing on Instagram. Well, that's another video.
Another time, yeah.
Another time. But I mean, Monster Mash, everybody wants to hear that, and honestly, Thriller, that's another one. So don't skip the favorites, because those are the ones that your friends, the less spooky people who aren't like us, those are the ones that they want to hear too.
Well, thank you so much, Miranda. Those were like awesome, helpful tips. I think we've got a great start to planning our Halloween Spooktacular now. So remember to set a timeline ahead of time, to set a theme for your guests to make it easy for them to dress up, and to create your own playlist or use one of Miranda's to set the tone for an awesome party. Now that we have our planning in order, we need to figure out how we're going to set up our space. So let's head over to Devin and figure out our Halloween tablescape.
Hey everybody, my name is Andrew.
And I'm Devin.
And we are the guys behind Your Best Halloween
Ever.
We are a seasonal blog with daily posts in the fall, starting in mid-September and running all the way up to Halloween. Every day of the week has a recurring daily theme. We do all sorts of posts and projects between the two of us. We do, like playlists. I write
Bakes.
original stories, bakes,
Drinks.
recipes,
Costume ideas.
crafts, really kind of a well-rounded way to just make sure that you have your best Halloween ever. We do also have a newsletter called The Daily Boo. It will bring our daily posts directly to your inbox, no algorithm required, and you can subscribe via the link below.
Now that we know how to plan our party, we are coming over to Your Best Halloween Ever, starting with our friend Devin. He is going to show us how to put together a creative and well thought out tablescape. So talk to us about your process. How do we put this together?
First, I love that you said it's well thought out. Thank you so much. So nice. But I would say the first thing you always want to do is pick a color palette.
Sure.
And with Halloween, it's pretty easy. We went with the classic black and orange.
I love it.
And we wanted to just make it a mix of textiles, because it's really, once you pick your color palette, as long as they fall into that, you're good to go. And my brain kind of just grabs pieces from different places. So we have dollar store placemats, because they're so cute.
And I love that they add like a bit of texture too.
And a little bit of sparkle.
Yeah,
love the sparkle.
that.
Even though they get covered up with the plate, it's fine. And because they're $1, if you do get a mess on them or somebody spills, it's not a big loss. So you can just go get something new at a different time.
Yes.
The one that you want to be careful of is if you have decorative napkins.
Those are so cute.
Have napkins you can wash underneath so you don't lose the decorative ones.
Oh, hot
Great
tip.
trick. Layer your napkins. Don't be scared to layer. And so we're actually I'm gonna have Midge help me set the table.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
We're ready for setting the table. So just grab your placemat.
Okay.
First things first, bring your napkin back over this way out of the way, because we're going to be setting the end seats.
Okay, perfect.
You're setting your place, I'm setting my place, the royalty of the table. And what I do is I just kind of lay it right on top of the runner. So I can use the runner, and what I love about a runner is you can set offset colors. So I have 2 different color placemats on the one side and then 2 different colors on the runners.
That looks awesome.
Don't be scared to mix and match and layer. And so we're going to set the placemat down. And then I have little melamine plates, because they don't have to be fancy china.
Yes.
You can get casual.
I love that.
I just place it straight down the middle.
Okay.
Your layered napkin, boop, boop, right on top of the plate. So if there's decorations, you hide it. Luckily, the napkins are cute enough; they become the decoration. And when you remove the
And there's
napkin,
a surprise.
fun surprise.
Yes.
And then final step is our informal skull spoons. And then you would lay it down into the china you wanted. And then our fancy goblets. I take mine and I just kind of set it top left.
Top left.
Top
Okay.
left. And yeah, so once you have that, you're pretty much table set. And then our centerpiece is a candelabra.
I love that candelabra.
I want to give a tip on candles. So if you ever put a candle in and it wobbles, take a little piece of paper towel.
Brilliant.
Gives it a little like extra cushion and it holds it a little bit more firm so it stays vertical. Accent with whatever candles for natural lighting or like ambient lighting, and you can kind of mix and match. But like I said, once you pick that color palette, grab things that play with, like, so the runner has like black and orange, little haunted houses.
Well, and I love that like this orange and this orange are not the same, but
So-
they play well together.
Yep. So they give like pops and dimensions.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And then you're ready to go with a fancy dinner or a casual dinner. You can have pizza. It works.
Halloween pumpkin pizza.
Halloween pumpkin pizza, shaped like a pumpkin.
Yes. Well, speaking of food, now that we have our table all set and it looks incredible, Devin, we're going to head into the kitchen and talk to Andrew about what we're going to eat at this table. So let's go. So now that we have our table set, we need something to munch on. So Andrew is going to show us a delicious recipe for pumpkin hummus.
Yes, so we are going to be making pumpkin spice hummus today with some homemade spooky chips.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I love this recipe. It's got a little bit of, it's not as sweet as you think of when you think of like pumpkin spice things. And it's definitely got that hummus flavor. It's like the perfect fall snack.
I love hummus, so I
Yeah.
can't wait. And I love fall.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we need to make this?
So yeah, what we need to do to make this, well, obviously we'll start with chickpeas or garbanzo beans. They are the same thing. I actually learned that a year ago when I did this recipe the first time on the blog. I was that person that asked at the grocery store, I'm like,
Do you have garbanzo?
where are your garbanzo beans? And they're like, well, here's some chickpeas. And I'm like, did I misspeak? Then we have some tahini, obviously some garlic, some pumpkins, the star of the show here, some spices with salt. Can't go wrong with that. Some lemon. We're gonna top it off with some pepitas, a little bit of olive oil, and then we have some tortillas because we're gonna be making our own chips.
Yeah, you didn't tell me that. I'm very
Yeah.
excited about
Surprise.
that. Yum. Okay, I can't wait.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour the chickpea garbanzo beans in the food processor.
I'm so excited.
I'm telling you, are gonna love this. It is so good. So now that we have the chickpeas and a little bit of olive oil in the food processor, we're gonna pulse a few times to get them broken up. So we're gonna be needing 2/3 of a cup of pumpkin puree. And I need 2 tablespoons of tahini. Did I have that? Oh shit, I had that on broil. Whoops. Well, there we go.
Ooh, no.
So, fun fact, our stove is as old as the house. So
I noticed that it looks like it's of the same era as myself.
It is. It is fabulously campy, kooky, spooky. So we do have to broil first before we bake.
As a
otherwise-
preheat.
Yes. Otherwise, it will take a year and a half.
I love that.
So we've got 2 tablespoons of tahini, and while I'm getting that, could you put a half a teaspoon of that into
Yes.
of the minced garlic into the food processor? Would you be so kind as to pour the lemon juice in, all of it?
The juice of one
The
lemon.
juice of 1 lemon. So we're gonna add a half a teaspoon of cumin and salt.
Okay.
Wing. And then we do also need a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So now that we have all the ingredients in the food processor, it's gonna do most of the work for us. So we're gonna go ahead and get, first thing we're gonna do is get the lid on. So it would be you and me with spooky chips just scraping it off the counter. It's like,
Delicious. We have to talk about this because at this point, like y'all have seen the intro to Andrew and Devin's segment. Can we talk about your house?
Yeah, so
Oh my god, it's so beautiful.
it's one of those things where it's like you grow up and you get to do what you want when you're an adult, and what we wanted to do was decorate for Halloween.
It's so good. I never ever want to leave.
So to finish off the hummus, you want to just give it a little dusting of some paprika. We'll go a little bit more. Drizzle on some olive oil.
Ooh, he's got the fancy finger technique.
I watch a lot of Food Network. So. And then if you would like to garnish with some pepitas, which I did know were roasted pumpkin seeds. It wasn't a garbanzo bean gate 2.0.
I'm putting a lot on it.
No, please do.
Oh my god, that looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is so beautiful.
And it tastes as good as it looks, even better,
I
actually.
can't wait. But
Yeah.
first, we have to make chips.
We do. We're going to make some chips. We're going to pop this in the fridge so it stays nice and cool. Making your own chips is super easy to do at home. If you're doing it around Halloween, why not use some Halloween cookie cutters? Using the spooky shapes is just a fun way to inject some of the, holiday spirit with.
I would never have thought to do this. This is so fun.
So yeah, go to town.
Gotta kind of get like a... I got ghosts.
Okay, so then we'll just toss them in that silver bowl.
Oh my gosh, yeah, y'all.
Oh yeah, by the way.
Andrew wrote a book of scary stories, spooky stories, 13 of them.
Do you want a little insider scoop?
I do.
So there are actually 14 stories in the book.
Is there an Easter egg story?
There is. So there is the 12 stories that you could get on Your Best Halloween Ever over the last 2 years. I've rewritten them a little bit. Oh yeah, there's a tray back there now, sorry. I gave them some refresh, some updates. There is a story that is exclusive to the book.
Ooh, cool.
Appropriately named The 13th Story. Which actually started as a working title, and then I inadvertently built a story around it.
I love that.
And then I actually included a 14th story. It's called It Happened on Halloween Night. We have little pumpkins. And it is a story I actually wrote as a kid.
Oh, that's so cool.
So,
So you've been writing for a long time.
yes. So I kind of, almost as like a favor to my past self, or homage, I left it as I wrote it when I was 9.
Oh, I love that.
It reads like a 9-year-old wrote it.
That's so cute,
But,
though.
yeah, it was just, I don't know. I have a little author's note that goes with it, and it just talks about, like, if my 9-year-old self knew that I was
Writing a freaking book?
right, putting out a book of Halloween stories, and that one was included, he would just be absolutely beside himself. And
That's amazing.
so, just as a little, I got you to my inner child, I decided to include that.
And that's available on Amazon, right?
Yes, that'll be available on Amazon.
Spooky chips.
There we have spooky chips. So, what we're gonna do is just add a little bit of olive oil to the chips.
2 shots of vodka.
Yeah, 2 shots of vodka. Now from here, my hands are gonna get a little messy, so I'm gonna have you do some of the seasoning. So what I like to do, you can use a brush to brush the olive oil on.
But where's the fun in that?
Right, seriously, where is the fun in that? Just get your hands messy, put your hands, clean them, obviously, but like, it's just, it's so much easier, and it just really feels like, oh look,
I'm cooking.
I'm cooking. I did this.
Okay, so now we're gonna season them.
Yes, so to season them, we're gonna put a little bit of, I have got coarse sea salt.
Coarse sea salt. I'm gonna just put some in the hand. Just kind of like.
Yep, just kind of drizzle it on. And then we're gonna do a little bit of paprika and a little bit of ground cinnamon. We're gonna pop this in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes at 350 degrees.
So they're done, and they look so cute.
Yeah.
Look at these little chips.
Frightfully festive.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Chips.
so excited. I guess, can I go ahead and try
Yeah,
it?
here, I'll hold it for you.
We could also just put it on the counter.
Oh, there's that. Here we go.
Okay, I'm so excited. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
That is so, and the chips are still a little warm.
Mm-hmm. There's that spice from the paprika.
And I love the little bit of cinnamon on the chip.
Mm-hmm.
Really makes everything pop.
And it kind of plays into that fall spice without having to go too sweet.
It doesn't taste sweet,
Mm-mm.
but it tastes like fall.
Right? It's so good.
It's so good. Okay, well,
We gotta go, but
this one recipe is such a winner. It will be we'll link it, I guess. Can we link to the recipe
Yep,
card?
we can link to the recipe.
Okay. And be sure to check out Your Best Halloween Ever on all their platforms, on Instagram, on their website. Subscribe to the Boo.
The Daily Boo.
The Daily Boo.
Daily Boo.
Subscribe to their Daily Boo.
Yeah.
And that is all linked in the description box below. And come here. And thank you so much, Andrew and Devin,
Always.
for having me in your beautiful home.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, seriously.
This has literally been so much
Yeah.
fun. So now that we have our food all prepared, we are going to start decorating. So let's head on over to Laura Lee.
Hey guys, I am Laura. Welcome to my house. I am the Halloween collector on Instagram. I collect Halloween year round. I decorate for Halloween year round in my office and throughout the house. And I also have an art site called Halloween Hill Studio on Etsy and Instagram. We do monthly fun art projects, and I sell paintings and sell prints. So welcome to my house. This is my living room this year, and my theme this year was Victorian Halloween. So I wanted to have sort of a haunted mansion vibe combined with like the fall ambiance, because in Houston, I live in Houston, Texas. It is hot as hell outside. It's like 90 degrees or something today in October. And so I wanted to create a fall atmosphere since we don't have it outside. So I had to combine fall and Victorian. It's been really, really fun. I have like some gothic vibes. I tend to just sort of roll with what I have and put it together and see how it turns out.
Well, now that we have our snacks all prepared and ready for our guests, we are going to start decorating the rest of our space. And to talk about that, we have Laura, the Halloween collector, joining us to talk about how to curate your space and make a really cozy, beautiful Halloween atmosphere, which, as you can see around us, she excels at. So
Well,
welcome,
thank you so
Laura.
much.
Thanks for being here.
Midge. I'm so excited to be here. This is so exciting.
Yes. So yeah, talk to us a little bit about your decorating process, how you would like set up something like this. Where do you start creating this amazing space?
Right, so I always want to start with a theme, and this year my theme was like Victorian Halloween, but of course my core style is always vintage, and most of my stuff is vintage, and like you want to use what you have every year and reuse it. So I'm like, okay, how can I use like what I have and like combine it in a Victorian way? So like with the mantelpiece, I decided to start, I always start with a mantle scarf or what I'm going to put on the mantle, and this year I went with like a lace because it's sort of vintagey. So I start with that, and then I just start layering in sort of, you want to create sort of triangles, and so I have two tall things on either side and one tall thing in the middle. And then this down here forms the opposite shape. So it's like triangle, 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 and then one up with the lights. And that keeps your eye just circling in the center.
Wow. Like, it seems so like, oh yeah, but then when you say it, I'm like, oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah, and so it's just like a good rule of thumb just to have tall things, and then I just like to have a balance. They don't have to match. Like this one's black and this cat's black, but they're not the same thing.
I also notice you're kind of creating a balance, like you have this bright pop of orange here, and then that pop of orange and the sign up there really kind of balance it, even though it's so different on both sides. It's creating that sense of it makes sense.
Exactly. So you're just mimicking the color. And I think you can achieve balance mimicking the color, even if the things aren't the same. For the Victorian theme, I wanted to do something sort of, dark and spooky. And I love Victorian mourning jewelry, if y'all have seen that. And so this is sort of my inspiration for this. This is all from the Dollar Tree, y'all. This is napkins, crepe paper. This is like one of those, plastic bats I just glued on. I have a tutorial on my my Instagram account.
Yes, and I
Save
will
stories.
have Laura's Instagram linked in the description below. So if you follow on her highlights, she has a DIY tutorial on how to make these really cool rosettes. And I actually just made some myself.
I love that you did. It looks so good.
My Halloween tree video, and that was all from Laura's DIY. So super cool and like very simple but very effective.
And like they weigh nothing too, so you can hang these anywhere. I just got like little clips and like clipped them on there.
I love that you are like the perfect example of how maximalism can really like be effective, and like even though there's so many things to look at, like you've really created eye lines for like where to look, and I love what you've done. It's so beautiful.
I'm so glad you like it. Yeah, it's been really fun this year to just do something different. Because every year I want to do something different, but then I have the same things that are just in my collection. So I'm like, how can I do it in a new way every year? And it's just fun to sort of play with that.
That's a great, and Miranda talked to us about kind of like setting a timeline, setting a budget. Like it's a great thing to repurpose what you have in a new way. Do you have kind of a way that you come up with a new idea to reuse things you've already used before at all?
Well, I always have things that I love. I start with the things that I love, especially like for example, this totem piece. I think this is so cool. It's like a little lamp. It's from, I think, Tradition Store.
Oh.
They have a bunch of, vintage reproduction. It's a reproduction. But I love that. So I'm like, that could be cool. And then, it sort of has like the, the spooky vibe, vintage vibe. And then I picked pieces I loved out of my collection and then just played with it and saw what would work together, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there is one more thing I want to talk about, but we are going to switch locales. Laura is, as she mentioned in her intro, a very talented artist, and we're going to go take a look at a mural she painted in her dining room, and maybe we can chat a bit about your process for that.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
If you are more talented than me, maybe this is something you can incorporate into your Halloween decor as well. So let's go take a look.
All right. Hey guys, welcome to my spooky dining room. So last year I was contacted by Treetopia, that Christmas tree company, to do a fun sort of spooky villain themed Christmas tree, and they wanted us to decorate a room. And so for my villain, I chose the Headless Horseman, and I'm like, what could I do as a cool backdrop for my room? So I've always in the back of my head had this like idea to do a really cool mural. Just like I always want it to be sort of fall themed, fall based, and like a dining room would be a cool place to do a mural. So I thought, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a themed tree for the Headless Horseman and do a mural as a backdrop. So that was my idea. So I spent 10 days last year. I started out with a pencil sketch on both walls. I love it. I think it is so fun. I think it would be really fun to like continue the mural, like maybe do like the front room, like just continue doing a different landscape. I don't know, but I think you should definitely, what I learned from this is that you should definitely go for it, even if it's a wacky idea, even if you think it might be insane and you might hate it. You should just try anyway, because it could be cool, and like you could really like it and be like, wow, I'm talented at doing something I've never tried before. I'm selling prints of this in my Etsy shop, Halloween Hills Studio. I have 8x10 prints. I'm gonna have larger prints as well available soon. And so one day I'll figure out how to do wallpaper. I don't know how to do that yet, but I think it'd be really cool to sell this as wallpaper so that y'all can put it in your house.
Now that we have everything ready for our party, it's time to wrap things up and wait for our guests to arrive. I want to say a very special thank you to everyone who participated in the Halloween Spooktacular, and a very special thank you, of course, to all of you for another magical Halloween season. I hope you have an amazing Halloween, and until next time, keep it campy, kooky, glamorous, and spooky. Bye-bye!
Hi, gay. We are sashaying away with deals.
That's going on a blooper reel because I'm recording.
Yes!
Quit.
That's all.
You're getting the real your best Halloween ever now.
God.
I had a deal with
With a person and it had a thing that was tall.
I can't say what it was, but it was tall and it had branches. See, there it is. And then
There it is. Whoop. There it is.
just a couple of women zhuzhing. This is the thumbnail.
Let us do this.
No one. Me, actually.
That's
quite,
right,
quite
that's
literally.
So cute. I like this. I like
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Zone in a little bit closer.
Being a kid, doing some crimes.
She said, one take.
Thank you.
When windows come out to social.